Good morning. So, there's something that I need to work on with Oopie, who has had some kind of like aggressive challenges, I would say, since he got here. Every once in a while, those things pop back up. I mean, we've pretty much gotten to where he knows how to be a pretty agreeable guy. But every once in a while, I always tell people, they have rinse and repeat stages when they're babies. Like, you think you got through a biting stage, and then at about 13 months and about 17 months, it comes back, and it's kind of like a rinse and repeat. They try it out again and see if this will work. And one of his rinse and repeats is being a little aggressive around food. So what I had to do when I got hurt to help the young lady who was helping me was we stopped letting him believe there's food to come into, so that he, would not be so animated about getting out of his halter and dismissing her in kind of a full-bodied way. So we started just putting his food in after. And then he graduated to having his bucket in there empty, and then you could give him food after he's in and cooperating. I still do that only because he's not fully past trying to dive his head into the empty bucket without just understanding the routine is you go in, you go around, you come back, you wait, take your halter off. He's not fully agreeing with that routine. He's pretty convinced that he should still be allowed to just at least check his bucket to see if there's something in there. And because he still checks his bucket is why I'm not providing him with anything to find yet. However, and he's done it since day one, but it's more been like he comes up with like his ears sort of back when he realizes there's no food there and you're about to approach with food. And it seemed, at the time, it seemed more like he was just mad that you had forgotten to feed him, more than it was aggressive towards you in your effort to provide him with the food, like to dispense the food. So I noticed already this morning that we had kind of an attitude issue, so I knew to kind of look for it. And when it came time to feed him, so, I went and got him, put him in his stall, and all was well. And then I always turn and get the food from where I leave it, waiting to be put into his bucket. He comes over the gate, usually with a questioning face, like, hey, where's my food? But as soon as you approach, his ears go back and he comes into the stall, like he backs up into the stall, and he lowers his head to the ground in kind of a pinned way. Today, he did it more in an arched neck way, didn't put his head all the way to the ground, which it's a habit he started. I had nothing to do with why he puts his head to the ground. And when I went to put his food in, I could tell that there was a little of like dismissiveness, like, you need to give me that and get the hell out of here kind of thing. And I was like, okay, we're going to have to nip this one now, because this is no longer about you forgot to feed me, like it's not about noticing there was no food and he's upset about that. It was about me dispensing the food. That's a little bit different. So what would I do to fix that? Believe it or not, you can get a horse to put his ears forward for just about anything you want them to learn how to do. So when they put their ears forward, both ears, both eyes on you, that's a question. Whether it's because you stop them and they don't know what they're supposed to do next, so they'll put both eyes on you and both ears at you and ask, like, should I just stand here? Did I do good? Do you want me to do something else? What can I do for you? Like, those are kind of the questions that you can kind of attach to that look. You can get them to give you that look, and then let's attach the question, may I have my food now, please? Right? We can attach that question to it. So I'm going to look for him to now ask me, may I have my food? And he's not going to get his food until he asks. So what would I do? Well, I would put him in a stall as normal. I'd let him discover there's no food as normal. I'd go get his bucket as normal. As long as his ears are forward, I'll continue to approach him with the bucket. As soon as his ears go back, I'm going to turn away. That's going to make him go, huh? Right? That's your first question. Wait, what? And his ears are going to immediately come back forward, like, wait, what? Where'd you go? Turn back again, approach with the ears forward. As soon as they go back, turn away. I could go as far as getting the bucket ready to pour into his grain bucket and turn away and say, nope, that's not how we ask. Good morning. So here's day one of Oopie getting a little bit of an attitude adjustment about having his grain offered to him. So I'm going to bring him in. Hopefully he's a good boy. We pause here. I change sides with him. I send him in. All have commands like wait. Wait means you stop moving, but I'm going to keep moving, right? Ho means we both stop. So I'm going to ask him to wait. I'm going to cross in front of him. Then I'm going to tell him in to go in the stall. I'm going to tell him to wait once he gets back to, the gate. I'm going to remove his halter. He is going to go in and tip his head towards the grain bucket to decide whether or not he's going to comply with the other rules, or if he's going to try to break the rules and bend back and go just to his grain. So that's why the grain hasn't been offered back as part of this routine yet. Eventually he will have grain waiting for him, and he's going to know to still follow all the rules. But right now he's still checking to see, do I have to listen to you? There's grain right there. So I'm going to keep doing it this way for a little bit longer. But what has happened as a result of him not having grain is he comes in, he checks, and then backs up or walks over to this corner, and then comes back, puts his head over, ears forward, like, where's my grain, right? Where's my grain? And then as soon as I approach him with the grain, his ears pin. And then he backs up, and then his ears stay pinned, and he puts his head all the way down to the ground, like he thinks I'm gonna put it on the ground for him. But yesterday, he arched his neck, which was a sign of thinking about being aggressive towards me. So that made me decide, okay, all this other mad at me that I didn't have grain waiting for you stuff is no longer about that. Now it's about, give me my food, lady. So now I want to make sure that when I give him his food, that I get him to put his ears forward and ask a question. And the question I'm going to apply to the ears forward is, may I have my grain now, please? Okay? You can apply whatever quote unquote question you want to ears forward. Okay? So that's the question I want him to ask. What I'll do is I'll get the grain, I'll approach him, and when his ears go back, I'm going to turn my back, which should then cause him to pick his head back up, go over the gate, ears forward at me, at which time I'm going to turn around and ask him, would you like this? And if he continues to have his ears forward, he'll just get his grain. If he puts his ears back, then I'm going to turn my back on him again. And I'm going to keep doing that until I can give him his grain while his ears are forward. That's what's going to teach him about having a better look on his face when I approach him with grain. And that should help interrupt the desire to be a little aggressive at feeding time. Okay, I'll be right back. Wait. In. So there he was checking, should I have to follow your rules? Wait. Stop. Wait. Okay. So now you go to that corner. He's gonna come back. I'm gonna go over here. His head will come over. His ears will be forward. So it seems like I'm teasing him. Good. So it seems like I'm teasing him. Good. Good. Okay, so I went in with the ears forward, and that tells him over the course of time, that didn't tell him today, but that tells him over the course of time that my ears forward get me fed, my ears back get her to turn away. So that's going to be a couple days worth of teaching him not to make ugly faces when I bring him his grain. Have a great day.